what if I told you that you could literally catch stress from someone else, like a common cold?
Mm.
Not just feel a bit annoyed, I mean, but physically experience a measurable biological shift in your own brain and body just by being near them.
It's absolutely true that creeping tension you feel sometimes in a room, or maybe the anxiety coming off a loved one, it's really far more than just an emotional ripple.
Right.
It's actually a biological transmission. It affects you right down to a cellular level, and often you don't even realize it's happening.
Wow. Okay, so today we're embarking on a deep dive into the fascinating neuroscience behind this stress contagion.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe even more importantly, the incredible power of your brain's resilience plasticity.
Yes.
By the end of this, you won't just understand how emotions get transmitted, and that's already pretty wild, but you'll hopefully gain some practical, evidence-based strategies, ways to build a brain that's remarkably resilient to the daily pressures of life.
Exactly. We want to move beyond just generic advice, get into the precise cutting-edge insights.
Right? You'll discover your brain's inherent ability, and it lasts your whole life, its capacity to adapt, to strengthen, to sort of fortify itself,
Okay.
which can transform you into a more robust, more emotionally intelligent individual, someone who can navigate these challenging environments with greater ease.
So our sources today are a stack of cutting-edge research excerpts, stuff from neuroscience of stress contagion and resilience, including some really pivotal studies from the University of Constance.
That's a key one.
Yeah, and also advanced insights into neuroplasticity. Our mission, really, is to pull out the most important nuggets from all this, help you grasp the science behind how emotions spread, and crucially, how you can build a more fortified mind.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, picture this scenario. You're commuting home, maybe you're stuck in that legendary chaotic traffic in Mumbai,
Oh, I can imagine.
or perhaps you're inching along the notorious 405 freeway in LA, right? Suddenly the driver next to you is just laying on the horn, gesturing wildly, clearly fuming, total road rage.
Yeah. Have you ever felt that knot tighten in your own stomach? That little clench in your jaw, even though you're not the one freaking out?
Oh, definitely.
Or maybe, different situation, you're watching a friend prep for a huge presentation, high stakes, and you start feeling their butterflies. Their nervous energy is almost like tangible.
Yes, absolutely. That's not just empathy. Well, it is empathy, but it's also this biological phenomenon at play.
That's a perfect illustration, that visceral reaction you just described. That's the first sort of undeniable hint of stress contagion doing its thing.
Exactly. And the science really shows it's far more profound, much more pervasive than we usually give it credit for.
Okay, let's really unpack this then, because it's almost unbelievable when you first hear it. The University of Constance research, and other studies too, they definitively prove stress isn't just a feeling we notice. It literally spreads between people.
Right.
It's a measurable physiological event.
That's exactly right. So when people simply observe someone under acute stress, and this could be watching a video or being there face-to-face, their own cortisol levels, that's the body's main stress hormone, they increase significantly. And this isn't just, psychological. It operates through both social cues and these subtle biological pathways, things like pheromones maybe, or unconscious emotional expressions we pick up on.
Wow.
It's like your body's getting a silent alarm signal just by being near someone else's distress.
So wait, if I'm getting this right, my brain isn't just seeing stress, it's actually mimicking the physiological response, almost involuntarily.
Pretty much, yeah.
How does our brain actually catch this stress then? What exactly is going on, under the hood when this happens?
It's truly remarkable how interconnected we are biologically. Studies show this fascinating array of mechanisms. For instance, get this, a striking 26% of people.
26%?
Yeah, 26% show elevated cortisol just from observing someone else stressed. And it's not just hormones. We see something called cardiac synchronization.
Cardiac synchronization.
Yeah, where observers' heart rates literally start to mirror the heart rates of the stressed individuals they're watching.
No way.
And your sympathetic nervous system, that's your fight or flight system, it kicks into gear just from observation. We can measure this through elevated alpha amylase levels in saliva.
Alpha amylase, okay.
Right. It's a key enzyme, a rapid biomarker for your body's acute stress response. It shows your body's already prepping for action just from watching.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me. Mirror neurons. We've heard about them for things like empathy, maybe learning. But are you saying face-to-face contact with someone stressed actually activates these neurons, creating a kind of Neural synchronization between brains. Is it almost like our brain is a Wi-Fi hotspot just accidentally downloading someone else's stress virus?
That's actually a fantastic analogy. Yes, mirror neurons play a huge role here. They
Why?
literally fire both when we do an action and when we see someone else do it, or even feel an emotion. This neural mirroring creates a direct pathway for emotional contagion.
So my brain isn't just witnessing stress.
No, it's actively, physiologically participating in it, almost as if the stress were its own.
That is such a crucial point. It suggests that empathy, which we think of as this great strength, right?
Right.
It can actually be a vulnerability in really stressful environments.
Right.
Does being more empathetic make you more likely to catch this stress then?
Precisely. Research shows a direct correlation. Higher levels of what they call dispositional empathy
Okay.
correlate with faster and more intense stress contagion responses. But here's something truly fascinating about how this works.
Uh-huh.
Elevated cortisol from this contagious stress specifically disrupts your ability to mimic positive facial expressions, like smiles.
Really? It stops you smiling back.
Yeah, it makes it harder, yes.
Mm.
But it leaves the mimicry of negative emotions, like frowns or worried looks, completely intact.
Oh,
So stress fundamentally messes with our capacity for certain kinds of positive emotional connection.
so it makes it harder to genuinely smile when you're stressed or when you've caught stress. But it's still easy to mimic a frown. Well, it's not just profound, it's kind of unsettling.
It is a bit unsettling.
It means stress doesn't just spread. It actively undermines our ability to connect positively right when we might need it most. It could create this kind of negative social feedback loop.
Exactly right. And this contagion, it isn't just a single event. It operates on different timescales, creating these layered waves.
Layered waves.
Yeah, so there's the super rapid second-to-second transmission through the autonomic nervous system. That's that immediate gut feeling you get.
Right.
Then the hormonal transmission, the cortisol changes, that takes minutes, maybe longer. So these effects compound over time. It's not just one hit. It can be a cascade that builds up and sticks around. But, and this is the critical turning point, because it sounds a bit like we're helpless here.
Yeah, I was starting to feel a bit doomed.
Right. While stress contagion is incredibly powerful, your brain isn't just some passive sponge soaking it all up. It possesses this extraordinary, often underestimated superpower.
Okay, I like the sound of that.
A superpower that allows it to actually rewire itself to become more resilient.
Ah, that's exactly what I was wondering. So if our brains are this vulnerable, are we just stuck being sponges for everyone else's stress? Or is there a way to, like, build up our defenses?
There absolutely is.
This brings us to the exciting part then, the real empowerment. This idea that our brain isn't just fixed.
Not at all.
The good news is we can actually build a sort of firewall against this emotional contagion. This is where the whole neuroplasticity revolution really comes into its own, right?
Absolutely. Contrary to, the historical belief that the adult brain was largely static after childhood.
Yeah, I think a lot of us still kind of assume that.
Right. But we now know it maintains this extraordinary capacity for reorganization throughout our entire lives. This mental resilience plasticity, as it's sometimes called, enables critical mechanisms to not only resist stress, but to actively recover from it, making us more robust in the long run.
Okay, so how does our brain actually do that? How does it rebuild itself to be stronger against all this emotional input?
Well, there are three core mechanisms involved in this remarkable rebuilding process. First, something called synaptic remodeling.
Synaptic remodeling.
Okay.
Yeah. Your brain can literally form new neural connections or strengthen the ones it already has within hours of being exposed to stress. And interestingly, people considered resilient consistently show enhanced connectivity in their prefrontal regions.
With the thinking part of the brain.
Exactly, the part vital for executive function, planning, and importantly, emotional regulation. Second, neurogenesis.
Neurogenesis.
This is the truly mind-blowing one for many people. New neurons, actual new brain cells, continue forming in the hippocampus throughout adulthood.
Wait, new brain cells in
I-
adulthood. Seriously, that's genuinely mind-blowing. I thought we were basically stuck with what we got after a certain age.
Nope. It's honestly one of the most exciting discoveries in modern neuroscience, and stress resilience is directly linked to increased rates of this new neuron formation.
Incredible.
And third, glial cell adaptation. Glial cells are the brain's often unsung support crew.
Right, not the neurons themselves. Exactly. Like oligodendrocytes, which make the myelin sheath that insulates neurons, and astrocytes, which are like the brain's caretakers, they nourish neurons, support synapses. Well, these cells actively reshape neural networks. They help with both repair and strengthening the circuits that handle stress response.
Wow.
It's truly like your brain has this tiny, super efficient construction crew constantly at work, improving its infrastructure based on your experiences.
That makes so much sense. It's not just the wires, but the whole support system adapting.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are the underlying molecular things driving all this amazing rewiring? What are the actual superheroes making this resilience happen at the chemical level?
Yeah, digging deeper, advanced research points to specific molecular pathways that are absolutely crucial. BDNF is a big one.
Easy enough.
Brain-derived neurotrophic factor. Think of it as the primary architect, or maybe like a potent fertilizer, for neural growth and resilience.
Okay, brain fertilizer. I like that.
Its levels directly correlate with your brain's capacity to recover from stress. More BDNF, generally better recovery. Then there's a glucocorticoid receptor modulation.
Glucocorticoid.
Okay.
That's a mouthful.
It is. But basically, it influences the HPA axis, the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. That's your body's central stress response system.
Right, the HPA axis.
Resilient individuals tend to show enhanced negative feedback in this system, which means they shut down the stress response faster, preventing that damaging prolonged exposure to stress hormones like cortisol.
Ah, so it's like their brain develops its own internal off switch for the stress alarm, one that works better if you're resilient.
That's a great way to put it, instead of letting the alarm just keep blaring. And finally, there's prefrontal amygdala connectivity.
Okay, prefrontal. That's the thinking part again. And amygdala is the emotion center.
Exactly. Neuroplasticity strengthens the inhibitory pathways, the calm down signals going from the prefrontal cortex directly to the amygdala, which is our emotional processing and sort of alarm center. This strengthening effectively improves emotional regulation. It gives your rational brain more influence over your immediate emotional reactions.
That makes sense.
Which, of course, raises the really important practical question for all of us.
Right.
How do we get more of these molecular superheroes, like BDNF, working for us? How do we actively build this inner fortress?
Yes. This is what everyone wants to know. What can we actually do specifically to boost our brain's resilience and turn on these amazing mechanisms? What are the actionable steps?
Well, the research is remarkably clear here, and thankfully it's not just vague advice. Specific, intentional activities trigger measurable, pretty profound brain changes that directly impact these molecular pathways.
Okay, like what?
Physical exercise is a massive one. It's a powerhouse. It doesn't just boost BDNF levels potentially by up to 300%.
300%?
Yeah, literally helping grow new brain cells and connections. But it also seems to optimize that glucocorticoid receptor modulation, training your HPA axis to dampen stress faster. So imagine a workout session, not just for your body, but for literally upgrading your brain's stress handling hardware.
That's incredible motivation. A double benefit right there.
Absolutely. Then there's meditation. Consistent mindfulness or meditation practices have been shown to create actual structural changes in the prefrontal cortex in as little as 8 weeks.
Structural changes.
Yep. Tangibly enhancing those emotional regulation circuits by strengthening that prefrontal amygdala connection we talked about. It's like consciously training your control over your emotional alarm system.
Okay, exercise, meditation. What else?
Learning challenges. Taking on and acquiring a complex new skill could be a new language, learning to code, even mastering a complicated musical instrument, or maybe a really intricate recipe.
Huh.
This demonstrably strengthens neural networks. There's that famous example of London taxi drivers.
Oh, yeah, the knowledge.
Exactly. Their intensive navigation training leads to physically enlarged hippocampi, a brain area crucial for memory and spatial navigation. It shows how specific cognitive demands literally reshape brain structures.
So, picking up that guitar again or trying that online course isn't just for fun or career goals. It's literally brain training that builds resilience.
Yeah.
That totally reframes how I think about my hobbies.
It absolutely should. And what's particularly fascinating here is something called the experience-dependent mechanism.
Experience-dependent?
Yeah. It means that carefully managed, sort of targeted stress exposure combined with deliberate recovery periods can systematically strengthen your stress resistance pathways.
So like stressing yourself out a little bit, but in a good way.
Kind of. Think of it almost like a vaccine for your brain. In a controlled way, you introduce a manageable challenge, you allow the brain to adapt and recover, and in doing so, you actually make it stronger and better prepared for the next maybe bigger stressor.
Okay.
For instance, a leader who intentionally takes on a demanding project knows it'll be tough, but also builds in structured time for recovery, reflection, maybe exercise. They're not just getting the project done, they're actively wiring their brain for greater resilience against future pressures.
That's a powerful concept. Okay, here's a little tidbit for our repeat listeners.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those mirror neurons we talked about earlier? The ones that make stress contagious?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're not just for stress. They're also why yawning is contagious.
Yeah.
Or why watching a really skilled musician can almost make you feel like you're playing for a second. It's just a fundamental part of how deeply interconnected our brains are. For better or worse, constantly sort of syncing up with the world around us.
That's a great example.
Okay, so to recap this whole deep dive then, we've learned that stress is, well, undeniably contagious. It's a biological reality.
Absolutely.
It has measurable effects on our cortisol, our heart rates, our neural activity, and it's amplified by our natural empathy. It's a real physiological transmission.
And this is the incredible news, your brain is a master of adaptation. It's capable of this extraordinary resilience plasticity.
Right.
And this happens through synaptic remodeling, the amazing formation of new neurons via neurogenesis, and the crucial support work of glial cell adaptation.
And most importantly,
we have powerful, practical, and scientifically proven tools like physical exercise, meditation, and continuous learning to actively strengthen these very pathways. It empowers you to actually build your own inner fortress.
so you now have the insights to both understand how you might be catching stress, how to protect yourself, and how to actively build a more resilient brain. So the next time someone else's stress tries to, hijack your day, you'll know exactly what's happening physiologically, and you'll know you have concrete things you can do about it.
Yeah.
That feels like a powerful shift from just passively absorbing it to actively being resilient.
Indeed. And it makes you think, doesn't it? If our brains are constantly adapting to our environment in these profound ways, what implications does that have for how we design things, like our workplaces, our schools, even our digital spaces?
Yeah.
How can we intentionally craft these environments to maybe minimize the negative contagion and instead foster collective resilience and emotional well-being for everyone?
That's a truly powerful thought to mull over. Moving beyond individual resilience to, like, architecting resilient environments. And speaking of optimizing our environments, next time on the deep dive, we're going to unpack the surprising science behind why certain sounds, just sounds, can literally make or break your focus.
Oh, that's a fascinating one.
Yeah. And how you can harness the hidden power of auditory environments to truly optimize your brain. You really won't want to miss how a simple soundscape, if you choose it carefully, could potentially revolutionize your productivity, maybe boost creativity, definitely calm your mind.
It's a real hidden hack.
It really is. A hidden hack you'll wish you knew sooner. So make sure to subscribe now so you don't miss out on unlocking that secret.